Okay.
Perfect.
I'm Kevin, 26 years old.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a software engineer.
And you work at?
Expedia.
Wait. This is not really a documentary. It's more like a process that took a long time to complete. But this is how things went. IKEA, Home Depot, and Best Buy. 3 different stores we dropped by on July 27th. We shopped for accessories, plants, wall decorations, and we were a bit scared of getting caught filming, but it was a great success. We then finally ended up going to Home Depot to pick up our bear paint. I must say, I went with 2 different shades of green. And honestly, I really wasn't sure about these colors, but I was ready to gamble this entire video. Last stop, Best Buy. Here it's the usual. We just bought some proper headsets for his desk and some light bars to illuminate his space. The rest was legit ordered on Amazon. The only thing I'd say that sucks about making desk setup makeovers are waiting for people. We like being respectful when we are not at each other's houses. Look, the goal here was to transform this entire setup into a whole new workspace for programmers, because that's what Kevin does. Not only does he have the skills to program, but he also has the skills to generate a lot of dust. Honestly though, taking all of his setup apart wasn't all that complicated. I wanted to also bring his PC case to the office and give it a bit of a redesign. And don't worry, we did get rid of these dual monitors. They really aren't my favorite for development, so I was happy to bring an ultra wide in. ARM no longer needed because the new monitor we bought has its own, and these are speakers I gave him a long time ago, and I'm happy they did their time. Regardless, I think the most annoying part about undoing all of his desk was all of these cables. Eventually, we unscrewed the countertop from these motorized legs we wanted to keep. Thankfully, it was actually a joke to remove, so I was super happy with that. As for the rest, it was simple to slide all of it out of this space, and it eventually gave us enough room to clean the floors so we could start painting. I did ask Kevin to remove the curtains for better natural light, just so we can get some better shots and more light to work with paint. A little tip guys, when it comes to painting, make sure to cover your floors and properly tape the walls, windows, and trims. If you have a colored wall, I suggest you prime it. It does take a bit of time, but it's definitely worth it. It'll make the paint stick. Now for this room, we went with 2 different colors. And because I always end up having paint on my clothes, I covered up. We went ahead and painted the wall in this Russian olive green color by Bear. Again, I was a bit scared at first about how this would turn out, but as the time went by and we kept painting, I was really happy with the way the wall was coming together. And the same thing applied to the second wall, which was painted in biking trail green by Bear. The second day for me was definitely a bit different. I actually ended up spending 4 hours trying to film and transition this build into the new case. I had a bit of a hard time because my allergies were kicking in. This thing was awfully dirty, and so I decided to dust it off, hence adding to my 4 hours. I just wanted to make sure I could fit clean components into this new build, in which I also decided to install new ARGB fans to match the aesthetics. So I eventually cleaned this thing up, took it apart, and reapplied some thermal paste. Turns out the old one was extremely dry. But yeah, with time I got all of the components in this new case, and luckily everything worked on the first try. I was super happy, and so I prepped this new build and brought it to his house. The only thing that we did realize after taking some of the tape off the walls was that we needed to redo the edges. However, I will say that the paint definitely turned out to be super nice. It's a color that I definitely recommend having with white trims. One thing I wanted to do before putting everything together was spray paint our cable management rack. I did order this plastic grate rack from Amazon, and I hated the fact it was gray. So I decided to use a satin black spray paint that adheres to plastic so I could transform this whole rack. My only tip when doing so is to make sure you avoid leaving the spray too long in one spot, or else the paint will start dripping on the plastic itself. It makes things look awful. Okay, as for the bulk of the project, the very first thing we needed to tackle was attaching these legs to the new table. However, because the table is 200 centimeters long, we needed to extend its frame. I did get this pin art countertop from IKEA mainly because I love the looks of it. The countertop along with the green paint looks so clean. If you are going to do this, I do suggest you drill the countertop to the frame. Believe me, you don't want to have all of your tech going up and down without proper support. And I say up and down because these are motorized legs by Anthrodesk with no cable support, so this is where my cable management skills kicked in. I honestly think it's important to have proper cable management off the bat. It'll make setting things up a lot easier. I'll leave a link down below of the things you should get to make things look clean. Regardless, I of course went with Alex drawers, mainly because I wanted Kevin to stick with what he knows. I went with a blue trim, and honestly these with the green wall look absolutely beautiful. To avoid scratching his floors, I bought some felt protectors to put on its legs. Realistically, it makes these things a lot easier to slide in and out. Now because his room is super small and dark, I got a whole aperture set for him. We decided to stick with what we have at the office, and so we got an Amran 200X to be paired with a newer wall mount arm and the SE Light Dome from Aperture. Jan actually got quite good at setting these up quickly. We eventually ended up attaching the whole dome to the light source mounted on the arm so we could drill it to the wall and have it hanging over the desk. Absolutely cheat code in my opinion. However, it of course wasn't the only light source we needed. We ended up installing some LifeX strips on the back of this desk, which eventually led to a bunch of cables piling up underneath, and so I needed to install the cable rack to route these. And so I did, but just after waiting like 6 hours for these to dry. Just note that technically these are server cable racks, but they come in so clutch, and because they aren't too long, it left enough room to 3M tape a whole power brick in order to power our tech. And this of course included the LifeX strip I had just previously installed. Okay, so the whole desk was quite well thought out. GrooveMate did send a few goodies, and one of them is their latest monitor stand. This thing along the pinup table looks so good, and the color this has really does accurately match the countertop. GrooveMate also sent their classic medium-sized wool felt desk pad, although I did ask them to send the lighter one this time around just to have some nice contrast with the peripherals and monitor. I did go ultra wide for this particular setup, and we brought an LG 34-inch into the mix. Luckily, this model came with its own VESA mounting arm. What I love about these ergo arms is that LG makes them super easy to install and make sure they are padded to protect your desk. Not only that, but honestly, due to the fact that these are clamps, their monitors are super easy to install. I particularly went with this model because it has USB-C and DisplayPort capabilities. It was also cool knowing that, like my own ergo arm, the arm is able to properly route all of the cables you need. I did go ahead and bought some hue lights for this back panel. These do come with their own brackets and adhesive tape to stick into anything really. Luckily, their wires were long enough to be able to route them and pass them through the cable management rack we installed earlier that day. When it comes to the monitor screen light bar, we actually just got one from BenQ, and it was also engineered to mount ultra-wide monitors. BenQ made this halo bar and it is extremely fancy. Fancier than our peripherals, but that doesn't mean that our mouse, keyboard, and audio setup aren't cool. The keyboard of choice was the MX Mechanical, and I paired this up with the latest MX Master 3S in white. I went road on this one, and I got the AI1 audio interface for Kevin's audio setup. Extremely good looking audio interface, by the way. I also wanted a nice boom arm to go with it all, and so I got the Blue Yeti Compass, which was also super easy to install. I did want Kevin to have a proper mic, which is why I recommended the Shure MK7. I paired this whole thing with Audio-Technica headphones, more precisely their Audio-Technica's Pro 5Xs. Really good looking headphones that he now hangs on the boom arm. I also gave him my Logitech Brio 4K webcam and my GrooveMate laptop stand for work purposes. I will admit the new Sonos lamp has no correlation to work. I got this lamp for decoration and because the speakers sound so good. I placed it along with his camera and one of the IKEA plants we got. On the other side, well, the NZXT custom build was placed. I will say though, we spent the rest of the night installing shelves and quickly realizing we had drilled on metal studs, which is why on the next day we had to make sure we cleaned things up, meaning that we needed to remove the studs, putty the holes, and somewhat repaint them. It honestly didn't turn out too bad. it was good enough to be able to install the smallest shelf size GrooveMate makes, and that along with a corkboard and the New York poster we got from IKEA, I would say everything together was definitely a great success. The only thing missing was the chair, but that we eventually brought in, unboxed and assembled. I honestly haven't been this proud of any other project on the channel. This video wouldn't have been possible without today's sponsor, Coding Dojo. If you guys are potentially looking to learn how to code in order to work at companies like Expedia, Coding Dojo is a global technology education company that offers coding bootcamps to help you do so. This not only includes a web development bootcamp, but they also have a curriculum for data science, cybersecurity, and UI UX design. Their curriculum is very well designed to make this your first and last bootcamp you'll ever attend, so you can start tackling projects and truthfully learn even more by doing. If it's of interest to you, you can download any of their course packets and check out exactly what you will be learning. A few months ago, I personally attended a class and they truly deliver hands-on and structured teaching, which will help you develop your coding or design skills a lot quicker. I honestly think that their online learning platform was also far more effective compared to my online computer science classes at university. Oh, and don't worry though, if you can't attend full-time, you also have the ability to do it part-time if it's a career change you're thinking of. Plus, after graduation, Coding Dojo ensures they are always there for you by being able to reach out to your career service managers to reorient you and find the most suitable career in the industry. Look, I've learned by doing, but I've also realized you need the proper guidance to grow into self-sufficiency so you can learn how to be a developer. Give them a try. Check out Coding Dojo in the link in the description down below for more information.
Just dibble and dabble a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Alright, so conscious. When I kiss you, I get a spark. Your body a work of art. Horny thoughts after dark. Used to stay up late to just talk. We was moving fast, trying not to get caught. Damn, your skin so soft. Let me open up your heart, cause life too short till death do its part. Knew it from the start, you be the one I'm pushing carts with. In the supermarket, you know I love to start shit. Took you to my crib.
Well, I think this setup was a great success on our end. It looks immaculate and I am super happy with the way it turned out. I love how the paint makes the IKEA pinup countertop pop, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty happy these gray Anthrodesk legs don't ruin the aesthetic. With it all, the blue IKEA Alex drawers contrast super well with the green paint. I chose these specifically because, again, he already had some, so I didn't want to mess with the way he had the other ones organized. However, one thing I did want to mess with was the cable management. Things actually turned out to be extremely clean all the way across. I'm able to hold and hide all of the cables that tech on this table packs up. Starting with our audio interface from Rode, the AI one is my strongest recommendation for beginner audiophiles. I chose this one because it's easy to set up. It can connect his new Shure MK7 mic hanging by a blue compass arm, and it can also connect these Audio-Technica's Pro 5Xs. All of this delivers comfort while playing games, talking to friends, and just generally listening to videos and music. Oh, and also with the proper cables, you can also connect this to your speakers. But because Kevin is rocking a 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro with a custom gaming PC, I thought it was best he rocked the A2 Pluses from Audio Engine via Bluetooth. Just makes his transition a lot easier. This will allow him to not only rock his audio setup with his PC, but also his Sony headphones with his MacBook for work. The custom PC, by the way, I completely redesigned. As you guys previously saw, I wanted a minimal PC with great aesthetics to match our industrial theme. The black on this NZXT H510 Elite case contrasts so well with the desk, and the fact that the NZXT RGB fans look so good within really pushed me to swap his original build. I also added some 3600 MHz Kingston RAM sticks, yielding 64 GB of RAM. However, when it came to the rest, I pretty much left it as it is. He mainly uses this PC for Valorant, playing Flight Simulator, and using it with his Oculus Quest. Although he wants to start a YouTube channel, and to be able to handle his A7 Mark IV footage, a proper custom build is definitely needed. Both machines connect via USB-C and DisplayPort to this LG 34-inch monitor. I of course went ultra wide because I remember how much I loved coding on these. When I was doing client projects back in university, I remember having a blast coding with such a wide curved panel. And so honestly, I truly think this monitor was a no-brainer no-brainer for him. Luckily, to complete it, I had BenQ send their new Halo light. As some of you know, I am now a huge fan of having a light bar on top of monitors, and the coolest thing about this one is that not only it is also built for curved monitors, but it also came with this remote control to be able to control the brightness, temperature, the automatic sensor, and the power status. As a developer, I think these come in so clutch, especially at night when you're trying to write code on this Logitech MX Mechanical. Not that it needs it because its backlighting feature is pretty sick. I did go full brown switches with this one only because brown switches are known to be excellent for programming. I also paired this up with the latest MX Master 3S, and all of it rests on this GrooveMate wool pad. Oh, by the way, the new MX Master has silent clicks. Makes it great if ever you are in a video conference call with work. If you want a full in-depth video about it, I'll leave a link on the screen. Quick tip, if you want to hide your monitor arm, I suggest you buy a monitor stand from GrooveMate. Jan and I both have one, and it really is a super cheat code to hide most wires. It'll also make your monitor look somewhat like it's floating, and I know there's a lot of GrooveMate stuff on this desk, but Kevin really wanted it. Look, their wood is pretty good and their accessories can make your life a bit easier. Next to their laptop stand, I did place the Sonos speakers / lamp. Great speakers, by the way. I mainly chose them for ambience music and to light up the desk, I guess. Plus, the app really has some crazy features we all need to dig into. As for the plants, they are all from IKEA. We have one chilling on the desk and two on this GrooveMate shelf, which we only ended up installing one because we wanted to let the wall breathe a bit. I know Kevin loves New York, and so for us, it was a must, leaving enough room to have a New York poster next to this. I also thought adding a corkboard where the hue play bars didn't shine was a good idea, mainly because the LifeX strip on this desk and the play bars don't seem to splash the full entire wall with light, which is good because it leaves room for a lighting setup to live on the right corner. This setup is a simple Aperture 200X attached to a newer arm along with the Aperture SE softbox. This here, my friends, is a lighting hack by Edward Lee. I heavily recommend doing this as you can take advantage of so much light and control it through the phone. As for the chair, I chose a chair that was comfortable enough and had a wide enough area on its seat. As a developer, you tend to spend crazy hours sitting down, and so I wanted to make sure this could deliver. It doesn't seem to be the best seat padding, but it might just do the trick with lower back pain. It was honestly a pleasure doing and filming this desk setup makeover. I truly think we did a great job at delivering this. I'm thinking of doing this for some of the local fans out there. Montreal is filled with great people that might need a cooler space and some new tech to kickstart their business or make their life easier. It's definitely what I tried doing here, so let's hope it works for Kevin. You guys can definitely check out his channel. Tech reviews are coming up. And if you want to see his day in the life as a software engineer at Expedia, make sure to stay tuned. I'm signing out, guys. I need some sleep. See you all next week. Take care.